Namaskar. I'm Dr. Satyapal, Associate Professor of English, Government National College, Sirsa. This lecture is being recorded under the aegis of Director General Higher Education Haryana for undergraduate arts and science classes. This lecture is meant for students of BSc Semester 1 and BA Semester 6. Today our topic is Precis writing. What is a Precis? Precis is a French word which means precise or brief. The word precis comes from the word precise, which means brief. Precise or brief account with all important points we need to go for in a precis, and no superfluous things can find place in precis. Precis is a short and concise account of some text which gives all its important points but none of its details. So far as superfluous and illustrative material, rejection of it is concerned, since the purpose of a precis is to briefly restate the ideas expressed in the original write-up, it does not include any superfluous or illustrative material which may be a part of the original. Maintains the view of the author means a precis follows and maintains the original view of the author. We should not distort the facts. What the author has said, we have to restate, we have to regenerate, write in different words the same thing. Now the question arises, why to make a precis? Question in examination. Because there will be a question in examination, so we have to write a precis. Uh, Actually, life is a bigger examination hall, and for that we also prepare. We should prepare for that. We do not have unlimited time for doing anything. It's important to learn the art of precis because we do not have unlimited time for doing anything. Take for example, the lecture I'm delivering right now is confined to be of 30 minutes. I cannot go beyond the given time limit. Therefore, whatever I want to say, I have to say in given 30 minutes. Similarly, whenever we are to talk in meetings or talk to senior officers, we have to be brief but complete. So you cannot say that the precis is useful for examination only. Now the question is how to make a precis. Precis writing is a very complex art, and that is why it is included to analyze the students' knowledge of a particular language. All language skills come into play, and in this art all language skills, whatever we have learned for reading, writing, or speaking a particular language, all those skills come into play. We can write a precis only if we have good understanding of the language in which we are trying our hand. Here I'm talking about English language. So skill in vocabulary, sentence structures, sentence formation, apart from the ability of understanding English, of reading and understanding what is written there, we need to have skill in vocabulary, sentence structures, and we should be able to form our own sentences. Only then we can write a precis. Now, what is expected from the students in precis writing? To reduce the original passage to its 1/3 in length. For example, if the original passage is of 200 words, we will divide 200 by 3. The answer will be 67. So roughly we are to write in 65 to 70 words. If the passage is of 100 words, then around 31 to 35 words we shall write this precis. And we should be concise, precise, and focused in precis. We need to be so. While reproducing the ideas given in the original passage, we cannot leave out anything which is vital and important. Before we launch ourselves into writing a précis, we must carefully read the passage, notice all the important points, and incorporate all of them in our précis. A précis should in fact be as complete and comprehensive as the original passage, albeit it should be expressed in a smaller number of words. So repetitions, examples, illustrations, quotations, citations, anecdotes. Again, I assert we cannot leave out anything which is vital and important in the original passage. We need to discard all the extraneous and superfluous material present in the form of examples, illustrations, etc. and any other such material that is included in the original passage to authenticate or to explain the basic idea. Now, smooth reading and not fractured ideas. Actually, those students who do not know the art of writing précis, they make this mistake. While writing a précis, you are not expected to distort or modify the author's view. Do not distort it. Whatever the author says, we have to be faithful to it, and we cannot disturb the ideas or modify the ideas given in the original passage. Uh, own language. We should write in our own language as far as possible. The language used in the original passage should not be repeated as it is. When we restate the important ideas written in the original passage, we should not jot down the sentences in such a way that it becomes illogical, it becomes without logic. So one sentence should lead to the other in a natural way. Our précis should not be a bundle of fractured ideas. One sentence should lead to the other in a natural way and thus make the reading of our précis smooth. Logical arrangement of ideas in our language, clarity and objectivity, these are our aims. And this is a very pertinent question, but how to do it, sir? How to achieve our own language, clarity and objectivity? कहीं की ईंट कहीं का रोड़ा, Bhanumati ne kunba joda. Our précis should not be like such a collection. It should not look as though some unrelated disjointed sentences have been yoked together by force. Our précis should not be a bundle of fractured ideas. It should not be a bundle of fractured ideas. For brilliant students, how to achieve it? This is a big question. Now I'm answering this question. For brilliant and hardworking students, my advice is that they should connect the sentences logically and try to make the précis smooth. It is achievable. If you practice it, you can certainly achieve it. And to those friends who are not very sharp skilled in the art of composition, to them I say that they should follow the order of ideas the author has used. Means the order the author has used in the original passage, if you keep the sentences in the same order, then you can achieve that smoothness, that logic, and smoothness will automatically emerge. So our aim is to make the précis compact, complete, coherent. We have to use our own expressions and language. We should not reproduce the language of the original passage. We'll try to use our own expressions while rewriting what the author has expressed in the original passage. We should be clear. Clarity is something very important in précis writing. Please do not compress the ideas so much as to make the write-up meaningless or to make it misinterpreted. Sometimes we try too much, and in trying to make it precise or smaller, what we do, we distort things and it becomes meaningless. You should not precise it to such an extent that it becomes meaningless. No room for personal opinion. Yes, this I say on empirical base. since I have examined the answer sheets of many students over the last 22 years, uh, uh, I say this on the basis of that we must not add anything of our own to the opinions given in the original passage. I tell you, it has been seen that the original passage is usually on a burning issue or a debatable topic. Consequently, students get lured into adding their personal opinion. Precis writing is something so objective. So we should not add our own opinions. We may agree or differ with the writer. So please avoid adding your own opinions. Apart from writing a précis of the original passage, we are expected to write a suitable title, to give a suitable title to the passage. Selecting a title for a write-up, that is a very complex art. It is as complex as writing a précis. If you know what to do and what to not, then you can always make an attempt. And those who make attempt succeed surely. If they do not succeed in their first attempt, then in the second or in the third, they are sure to succeed. They are sure to succeed. So try again. Keep on trying. You will succeed. Now, once you have read your passage, then start thinking about it. What is this write up about? Means, what is the topic about which this passage has been written? For example, say if it is about marriage, for example, marriage, you find out that this is about marriage. So, what aspect of marriage it is about? Marriage is okay, but what aspect of marriage? Ponder over it now. What aspect? Anything, marriage or cinema or education, or there can be any topic. But not only that topic, some important other aspect of that topic must have been covered in this original passage. So, if it is about marriage, is it about advantages of marriage or disadvantages of marriage, or both advantages as well as disadvantages? Or it is about do's and don'ts of marriage? If not, is it about culture of marriage? So many things can be there. So many things can be there. So many aspects can be there. So think about this aspect and then phrase the title properly. Phrase the title. Title should be like the signboard of a shop. It should be complete and it should include that particular aspect of emphasis which is important in the original passage. So, for my dear students, I always divide in them in two categories: those who are very sharp and those who are average. So, my friends who find it difficult to choose a title, for them I say, try to find it out in the first sentence of the original passage. They can find the title, or at least they can find some helpful hint in the first sentence in the beginning of the passage. Unfortunately, it is not always true. Sometimes title is not there in the beginning of the passage. So they may or may not be in the beginning of the passage. Sometimes it is not there at all. You have to read and you have to make your perception. You have to think about it and then you have to write your title. But generally it is there. So if it can be of any help, I suggest this for you. Now, after writing our title, we have to look into the grammar of title. Some of the words will begin with capital letters. First letter of the title, first word, and the first letter of first word will be capital. The Knight of Stone. The begins with capital letter. Proper nouns will begin with capital letters. They may come in the beginning of the title, in the middle, or in the end. Wherever they come, they will begin with capital letters. Teachings of the Bible, of and the. These are, of is the preposition and the is article. Bible. Bible is a proper noun and it will be capitalized. B will be capitalized. Important words except articles, conjunctions, prepositions, 2 of infinitives. All important words will begin with capital letters except articles, for example, a and the, conjunctions, for example, and, but, etc., prepositions of, on, from, against, at, etc. 2 plus first form of the verb, two infinitives. In that case, 2 will begin with a small letter. One example is my experiments with the truth. With is a proposition here, so begins with a small letter. And colon to separate main title from subtitle. We discussed marriage and its various aspects. If we are to write a title like marriage, its advantages and disadvantages, then how will we write it? Marriage colon its advantages and disadvantages. Similarly, cinema, I have given an example here. Cinema, its disadvantages. Cinema colon its disadvantages. Inverted commas in case of name of poems, stories, etc. Name of poems, stories, articles, etc. will be in inverted commas. Escapism in Ode to a Nightingale. Ode to a Nightingale is a poem by John Keats. So the title comes within a double inverted commas. And escapism in with a small I, escapism with a capital E. For writing a title, you can refer to a book which is perhaps available on internet. MLA Handbook for Writers of Research Papers. Here is a picture of the book, front page of this book on your screen. This book discusses the art of writing title in detail. It discusses the art of writing title very beautifully. You can always look in this book and learn the art of writing title. Now, after knowing the theory of writing a précis, practically what steps you have to follow to write a précis? Read the passage thoroughly. Try to get the general idea of the theme of the passage. You have to read it very carefully. Try to know what it is about. Only then you will be able to find out which ideas are important in the passage. Underline all the important ideas given in the passage, and then rewrite in fewer words what the author has said. Use your own language as far as possible. After reading the original passage, you must rewrite it in your own words, heading type, in the form of headings or in the form of important ideas only. You should note them down and then read the passage again. Now in this reading we have to find out that we haven't left anything important and we haven't included anything unimportant. Make sure that no important point has been overlooked or important, and also make sure that nothing superfluous का मतलब है फालतू, unnecessary has been added or included in our rough draft. Nothing has been misinterpreted. This is very important. Sometimes we misinterpret things. The writer wants to say something and we say something else. That is called misinterpretation. So write down the sum and substance, mean the summary of the original passage, in well connected and readable paragraph. Now the rough draft is to be converted into a readable paragraph. This is rough draft or skeleton of your précis. Now seventh step is count the words in your rough draft. Since right in the beginning of the précis writing, we counted, or sometimes intelligent examiners, what do? They give the total number of words used in the original passage in a bracket at the end of the paragraph, and from there, or if it is not given, you can always count them and then try to find out how many words are in your range, in how many words you need to write this précis. One third of the original passage is to be the target. Add suitable conjunctions wherever necessary so that the précis becomes smooth in reading. Conjunctions are very important, but when, how, why, however, notwithstanding, in addition, firstly, secondly, thirdly, some conjunctions we insert in the text to make it smooth, make necessary alterations to achieve required length. If you read it carefully, then you will automatically know what should be, what connective or what conjunction should be added and where. Review and rephrase your draft wherever desirable. Two things you must keep in mind. One is accurate reproduction of the facts. I assert again, the original ideas given in the original passage should not be distorted. Second thing is that whatever we write, that should be grammatically, semantically correct and logical and smooth. So the 10th step is give your Prezi a suitable title or heading. The art we have already discussed. Make correct use of punctuation in the title. The grammar of title, I have discussed this in under the heading grammar in the title of our. How to achieve brevity? This is a big question, and the whole art of Prezi writing depends on it. How to achieve brevity? We need to have rich vocabulary. If we have rich vocabulary, we can make sentences of our own. We can form our own sentences. Word formation, if we can form words with the help of suffixes and prefixes and various other ways, that can be very helpful. Innovative use of words, if we have synonyms, antonyms, etc., we can always decrease the number of words in our Prezi. One word substitution, this is the biggest asset in Prezi writing, which can reduce the number of words considerably. All these are very useful in Prezi writing. Jotting down sentences without logic or omitting a few and preserving others to achieve brevity, that is not Prezi writing. I have seen many students that what do? They pick up a few sentences from the original passage, connect them together without any logic, write them down and believe that we have written Prezi, we have attempted this question well. That is not right. That is not a Prezi. Prezi writing is not an easy art. Certainly it is not easy. It needs hard work. It needs practice. Try to replace clauses by phrases, phrases by words. This is how we can achieve brevity. If you really know what do I mean by a clause or a phrase or a word, you have to focus on these three terms. We have to replace clauses by phrases. Means phrases will come in place of clauses, words will come in place of phrases. Automatically number of words will decrease. Here is one example: an arrangement of a permanent nature. This expression has 6 words in it. An arrangement of a permanent nature. We can reduce number of words by restating it in fewer words. A permanent arrangement. Look at this. There is no change in meaning. However, number of words has decreased to 50%. Earlier it was 6 and now it is 3. Another example, he had fear and anxiety in his mind. Here are 8 words in this expression, and when we change it, we can say he was a coward. One who has fear and anxiety in mind is a coward. This is one word substitution. So he was a coward, we can say. And see, number of words 8 to 3. Now use prefixes or suffixes wherever possible. A man who lives next door to me is of no worth. If I am to say this sentence, I can say it in few words if I have suffixes and prefixes as method of word formation in my mind. Let's see how can I do it. My unworthy neighbor, neighbor, next door neighbor, one who lives next door is my neighbor. So we have replaced a number of words with 1. So 14 words to 3 words it has come. use one word substitutes for terseness. Terseness means brevity, conciseness. We can use one word substitutions. In Hindi we say अनेक शब्दों के एक शब्द. अनेक शब्दों से वो एक शब्द में कन्वर्ट कर देते हैं. People knew that he drank a lot of wine. What we call one who drinks a lot of wine? Drunkard. People knew that, people knew means he was famous. If he is positively famous, in positive sense it is, we call him famous. If it is negative, we call it notorious. People knew that he drank a lot of wine and was habitual of it. One who is habitual is called a drunkard. Here are 14 words. The man was a notorious drunkard. It has come to 6. Number of words decreased from 14 to 6. This is the magic of one word substitution. Another example, you can combine sentences with the help of conjunctions. Another example of strategy is you can combine sentences with conjunctions. You can convert 2-3 simple sentences into one complex sentence. How it will decrease number of words? Because the words which form subject, if subject is formed by more than one words, the number of words, if you write 3 sentences, then the subject has to come thrice. So number of words will be decreased considerably. It brings not only conciseness but also force to the expression. Example, there were many fishermen's cottages. They extended along the harbor wall. At night their lights were reflected in water. There are 19 words in these 3 sentences. If we combine them, then let's see what happens. Lights from fishermen's cottages, comma, along the harbor wall, comma, were reflected in the water at night. Look at this sentence. This is one sentence which I have composed out of the above 3 sentences. Now this one sentence is of 15 words. 4 words, number of words decreased is 4, and every information that was included in those 3 sentences has been incorporated in this one sentence. Avoid unnecessary repetition. Sometimes willingly or unwillingly, knowingly or unknowingly, the writer repeats something. Sometimes for emphasis he repeats, but in Precis writing we have to avoid repetition. India is no mean country. No mean. If you in mathematical way, जैसे हम मैथ में कहते हैं ना 2 से 2 कट गया, उसी तरह से mean and no. India is country from no mean, country from any angle. So negative से कट जाता है and becomes positive. In other words, it is a nation with positive ideas. So there are 18 words in these 2 sentences. In other words, this highlights that there is a repetition. India is a great country with positive ideas. Number of words is 8. See, 10 words have been decreased here. Repetition. The sixth tactics is to omit examples, comparisons, contrast, digressions, and details. Any detail which the writer uses for explaining things. Example is a schoolboy. A schoolboy may daydream of plates piled high with food. A younger dancer of applauding crowds. A businessman of government contracts. Brown's daydreams were, however, different. He thought only of rockets. If you look at this passage carefully, then perhaps Brown is the center of attraction. All other things are examples, which is a platform, which is a kind of introduction. Now you can replace this with Brown was always thinking of rockets. In order to assert this idea, these examples were given. The examples before Brown's daydreams were, however, different. So, seventh tactics is to avoid expletives. Expletives means sometimes we use there is, there are, etc., which is a dummy subject in the beginning of a sentence. Do not begin sentences with there is, there are. Straight away, go for the subject. Sometimes antonyms can help even in achieving precision or concision. Example is, there are many people who are not wise. Look at this sentence which begins with there are many people who are not wise. Not wise, who are not wise, what are they? They are fools. They come out of their homes during contagious pandemic, corona, corona kaal mein. These two sentences, they have 17 words, and let's replace them. Now I have replaced not wise with fools. Fools come out of their homes during contagious pandemic. 17 words have been reduced to 9. Uh, do not think of bringing every sentence to one third. This I have already asserted. Do not try to make every sentence one third of it. It is not possible. It is not desirable. Make use of active voice rather than passive voice. This is very important because active voice is said in fewer words. Ram killed Ravan. These are 3 words. This is active voice. If I convert this into passive voice, then it will become 5. Ravan was killed by Ram. Ravan was killed by Ram. 5 words. So do not use passive voice, use active voice. Direct speeches are to be converted into indirect ones, reported speeches. Yes, definitely. This is a rule. We cannot give direct speeches in a Precis. We have to convert it into indirect subject. You must have wondered in your student life why we are being taught passive voices or change the narration. Some of the students found very difficult. It is used here, and it is used in all write-ups. Anything you write, you will use it. If you do not know how to convert it into indirect speech, then it is a problem. It becomes a problem sometimes, especially in research writing. I have experience. So for maintaining smoothness, you can keep order of ideas undisturbed. This I have laid stress on earlier also. So rich vocabulary, word formation, innovative use of words, synonyms, antonyms, all these things, the one word substitution, etc., they can be of great help. Strive to achieve it continuously. It is possible, my friends. I assure you it is possible. Since you have learned the art of Precis writing, try to answer these questions. What does the word Precis mean? What is the ratio between number of words in original passage and that of the Precis? Name any 5 strategies which are helpful in reducing number of words while making a Precis. Name any 5 do's and 5 don'ts of Precis writing. Means what should we do while writing a Precis and what should we not do while writing a Precis. Name at least 3 rules of punctuation which we must follow while writing title of a Precis. How can we separate the title of a Precis from its subtitle? And is the art of Precis writing useful in our daily life? How? Thank you very much for watching this video. Happy learning.